What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the negotiations over the next two packages, the physical infrastructure package, as well as the next stimulus package, and as well as what is going on in the world today. There is actually multiple different forms of universal basic income, also known for short as UBI, going on right now from our government. And we're actually seeing more and more support for this and also more programs launched in different areas of the country for universal basic income or monthly checks from the government. Yeah, you might not even know about a lot of these checks. First up, we have the child tax credits, which was passed from the third stimulus check package for 1 year this year. And the Biden administration and the IRS is going to start sending out monthly checks to children or the person who claims the child as a dependent of $300 per month starting on July 15th for the rest of the year, July 15th through December 15th, 6 months. $300 per month for children under the age of 6 and $250 per month for children ages 6 through 17. These are called the child tax credits. They were increased and passed from the third stimulus check package. And the first half of the year, the first 6 months that you didn't get in the monthly payments, that you will get on your 2021 tax returns, which you will claim next year. And you'll get $1,500 for children above age 6 and $1,800 for children under the age of 6. And there's also a provision for a $500 stimulus check for children ages 18 through 24 that are in college. So these monthly payment, the 18 through 24 is only a one-time payment. All the other ones are monthly payments. And the Democrats want to extend this in the next stimulus package through 2025. So 4 more years of these monthly payments, which basically is a form of universal basic income. Some people call it government child support. It'll be interesting to see if that name catches on. Child tax credits really isn't the most catchy name. It'll be interesting to see what happens. These have been going on since 1998, these child tax credits, but they've been increasing as they go on. They started off at like $400 and then went to $500 and then went to $1,000. And then former President Donald Trump raised them from $1,000 per child to $2,000. And then the Democrats are like, no, no, hold my beer. And they're like, they blew that out of the water and increased it to $3,000 for children above age 6 and $3,600 for children under the age of 6. That was passed from the third stimulus check package, so it is a stimulus provision. But they want to extend that in this next package till 2025. Again, it's monthly payments from the government for children, 65 million children, which is about 20% of the United States population. Will start receiving checks. Again, they don't go to the children. They don't, I mean, they do, but they don't, right? Because they don't send checks to 2-year-olds or to 5-year-olds. They send the checks to the person who last claimed the child on the most recent tax return. So keep that in mind. The IRS also has a non-filer form. So if you have children but don't file tax returns, I'll put a link down below in the description of this video that you can fill out for non-filers. They're also setting up another tool right now for people that might need to change information. We don't really know what this other tool is going to have. There's some speculation that you might be able to change your payment information. You might be able to claim new children if you just had a new child born this year. You might be able to change your address, or I mean, there's multiple different things that could be in this tool that they're supposed to have set up like here within like the next 10 days or so. They said by the end of this month, so that you can also log in and opt out of the monthly payments with this tool if you want to just receive the entire thing as a one lump sum. Remember, you're already going to receive the first half of the year as a one lump sum and the rest of the year as monthly payments. I suggest you take the monthly payments. You get the money now. You don't have to wait 6 or more months until next year when you file this year's tax return, and you get a little bit of money at each month, which will mean you're likely not to blow it as fast. It won't be in and out, gone right away, because you get a little bit every month as opposed to getting it all in one lump sum and then like maybe a month or two later it's completely gone. But here's the thing, is there's other universal basic income programs going on all across the country. I'll remove myself from the corner of the screen here so you can see the bottom right-hand corner, which has Miami Gardens, Gainesville, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Columbia, South Carolina, and a couple other cities there. As you can see on this map, this is from the Mayors for a Guaranteed Income programs. The website is mayors, M-A-Y-O-R-S, for, F-O-R-A-G-I.org, mayors4agi.org. These are all the cities right now, and I don't even know if they've updated this map because there's several new programs that are going on right now in these different cities. As you can see, they're all across the country where mayors are literally giving guaranteed income monthly payments of $500 or more for the residents of their city in small numbers. Most of these are small numbers, like a couple hundred people or a couple thousand families, depending on each city. But the thing is that these programs are starting to grow more and more people are starting to get universal basic income from their city or other programs. Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar is going to be introducing a universal basic income program to get money in people's pockets for all low-income Americans this Congress. She said she's going to be doing it this Congress sometime this year. She's going to introduce a bill for universal basic income for everybody that falls under certain income qualifications that we do not know yet. So we are starting to see more and more support for these monthly checks or monthly stimulus checks. This is kind of different than the two bills that we have from Congress, but really, they're not really that much different. They're monthly checks, whether you call them stimulus checks or universal basic income or child tax credits, whatever you want to call them, they're monthly checks from the government, and you don't have to pay taxes on them. The bill from the U.S. House of Representatives is a $2,000 one-time stimulus check, then followed by $1,000 monthly recurring payments that would go until 1 year after the pandemic is declared over, because what the Democrats say is that the economic recovery is not going to be our economy is not going to recover in the next 30 to 60 to 90 days. And that's why this plan is for $1,000 monthly stimulus checks to continue for 1 year after the pandemic is declared over. The bill that has been introduced into the Senate by Senator Ed Markey and Elizabeth Warren, and is also backed by Senator Bernie Sanders and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, is for $2,000 monthly stimulus checks, although this particular bill only goes until the government declares the pandemic is over, which a lot of people guess, it's just purely a guess, could be by the end of this year. So maybe still 5 more stimulus checks in this particular bill. But as you can see here, researchers are testing pilot universal basic income programs that hand out $500 payments per month. Residents in cities across the country are receiving $500 per month payments as part of a no strings attached experimental universal basic income, a version of the universal basic income popularized by former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang, has gained more attention after the pandemic idled millions of workers. Now, places from Compton, California to Richmond, Virginia are trying out pilot guaranteed income programs as researchers hope the results will give them a fuller picture of what happens when a range of people are sent payments that guarantee a basic living. Now, note that none of these programs are designed to make you rich. They're really just designed to keep you out of dirt poor poverty levels. They're designed to give you like maybe an extra $500 or $1,000 per month. The universal basic income programs, I mean, they're all different because they're all across the country, right? But these programs are designed to go forever. Okay, it's kind of like how Social Security is going to go forever. The unemployment programs are going to go forever. This is something that they're testing out across the country to become one of these social safety nets that our country has. We've talked about here on this channel a lot because I'm a student of history. When we go back to the Great Depression, 1929, early 1930s, there was no Social Security program at all and no unemployment program at all. And when these ideas were first introduced, everybody thought that they were radical and they were crazy. How could the government possibly give out money when you lose your job. You're going to lose your job and then you're going to get unemployment benefits. And the government's basically going to run a pension program for everybody called Social Security. And when these ideas first came out, people thought they were pretty radical. And now they're a large part of our society. In fact, the majority of seniors rely on Social Security for the majority, if not all, of their income. Can you imagine if the Social Security program was never passed? And this came about from the 1929 Great Depression, along with the unemployment program. So, because basically millions of people lost their jobs and didn't make a dollar the next day, they had no money for food. The government had no support. If you lost your job, you were just ass out of luck, right? And there was no other jobs to be had, right? There were millions of people out of work. 25% of people were out of work at the height of the Great Depression. There were no other jobs to be found. And the government's like, we got to step in and do something. And the Social Security programs and the unemployment programs were born. And they have continued on for decades. I mean, we're getting close to 100 years now through Republican presidents, Democrat presidents, presidents who had, different point of views. They've all kept this program and it has stayed and it's become a large part of our country. The question is will we continue to see more universal basic income programs, kind of like the child tax credits? I mean, for no other reason, the government is giving money to people with children, and they call it a child tax credit. But stimulus checks are actually called advanced refundable tax credits. A stimulus check is actually a tax credit. So these child tax credits, they're basically just the government giving money, the universal basic income, government child support, whatever you want to see. But we're now starting to see all these other mayors and different states and universal basic income programs across the globe. I'm sorry, across the United States. I mean, honestly, there's other countries doing this too. I mean, let's be real. There's other countries like Canada and Germany that have been passing monthly stimulus checks throughout the pandemic. And we've had 3 checks, which is better than none. It's better than 2. It's better than 1. And we're working on the 4th one and possibly a 4th monthly stimulus check, which again would be a type of form of universal basic income. But the more help we can get for our people during this pandemic, the better. And really, we're starting to see more of these programs come out here by the week. As you can see here, there's a New York City fund that is a program that is giving $1,250 per month to 40 homeless young individuals. There's also another program from Colombia that is a $500 a month per program per year, as well as an upstate New York county site of experimental universal basic income as well. That is 100 households making less than $46,900 a year will begin receiving a $500 payment each month for the year. And again, those are really just the brand new programs that I found out here within the last week or two. There's really more cities kind of coming out every single week or two, adding on to these universal basic income programs. Again, if you're from one of these cities here on this map, I recommend you after this video go and Google the Mayors for Guaranteed Income program or your city guaranteed income or your city universal basic income and see if the program is still open in your city or if you can apply to be on it for the next time around. Next up, let's hear from outspoken Democratic Representative AOC Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez from New York on the negotiations from the next stimulus and the next infrastructure package, whether the Democrats are going to continue and pass it as one package or if there's still hope to get it passed with Republicans. Albeit some Democrats, along with AOC, she's a more progressive Democrat, don't really want to make a deal with the Republicans because the Republicans want to make a much smaller deal.
Usually, I have to say, representing the Bronx and Queens, when these bipartisan deals come together, they tend to underserve the communities that are already underserved. Places like the South Bronx, Baltimore, areas of Chicago, across the country. And so not only do those communities get left behind and cut out in these bipartisan deals, but corporate interests get centered in these deals as well. And so that is number one. And so we need to make sure that our infrastructure policy, I think our number one priority and what Democrats should prioritize is not process and how, but Are we passing the deal that helps working people the most? Are we passing the deal that makes the most jobs? Are we passing a deal that brings down the most climate emissions? Are we passing a deal that raises wages and actually improves our infrastructure for the next generation? And if a bipartisan deal sucks up trillions of dollars in bridges to nowhere because it makes people feel good, then that's going to be a huge concern. We need to make sure that we're creating economic opportunities for people who are ignored in this country. And that's it's not just good policy, but it's good politics too.
And what she's saying there is what of a growing number of progressive Democrats are saying that they don't really want to pass a deal with the Republicans because their deal is so much smaller. The physical infrastructure portion of the deal is only around 1.2 trillion. That originally started at 2.3 trillion dollars just for the physical infrastructure package. And the next stimulus package combined was supposed to be around $4 trillion. Democratic Representative Bernie Sanders and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer are now considering passing a $6 trillion stimulus package and infrastructure package combined.
As you well know, Democrats have 3 votes to spare in the House. So if the White House comes to you, if Democratic leaders come to you and say, this is the best you're going to get right now, would you and fellow progressives still say no to this?
Well, I think the thing is that this isn't the best that we can get. And I do think that we need to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Senate Democrats, which are blocking crucial items in a Democratic agenda for for reasons that I don't think hold a lot of water. And for folks saying, okay, where are you going to get these 50 votes? I think we really need to start asking some of these Democratic senators where they plan on getting 60 votes. These 10 Republican senators, that there's a theory that we're going to get support for that out there, I think is a claim that doesn't really hold water, particularly when we can't even get 10 senators to support a January 6th commission.
Yeah, no, I hear you
I
generally
think that the
speaking.
Argument that we...
But on this particular bill, they have 5. And, my understanding is that it is possible, if everything comes together, they could get 10. So just on infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think then the question that we have to make is that there's a fork in the road, which is, do we settle for much less and an infrastructure package that has been largely designed by Republicans in order to get 60 votes? Or can we really transform this country, create millions of union jobs, revamp our power grid, get people's bridges fixed and schools rebuilt with 51 or 50 Democratic votes? And I think the argument that we need to make here is that it's worth going it alone if we can do more for working people in this country. With 50 votes, we have the potential to lower the age of Medicare eligibility so that more people can be covered and guaranteed to their right to health care, as opposed to, 60 votes where we do very, very little. And the scope of that is defined by a Republican minority that has not been elected to lead.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts and your opinion on this. Do you think the Democrats, because again, the Democrats control the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and they can pass it without the Republicans. Do you think they should pass it without the Republicans? Or do you think they should make a deal with Republicans for a smaller infrastructure package and then pass the next stimulus package through the reconciliation process? And let me know what you think will ultimately end up happening. I think right now there's about a 50-50 chance that they could pass the infrastructure package by itself with Republican support, bipartisan support, or they pass them together with a much larger package. But again, each has its own hurdles. Passing them together, you have the hurdle of like getting people like Senator Joe Manchin on board to ultimately vote for the package, which he did with the third stimulus check package, and he probably will for this package, but he will be kind of a thorn in the side of Democratic representatives if they go it alone. So, and remember, they need every single vote in the Senate and 99% of votes in the House of Representatives from the Democratic side to do what they did for the third stimulus check package and to pass it alone. And remember, there's about 15 or 20 different stimulus items that they're negotiating to be in the next stimulus package or combined between the two, which includes a forced stimulus check or a monthly recurring stimulus check, Social Security increases. There's 3 different plans for Social Security increases. A Medicare expansion to include hearing, dental, vision, and hearing aids completely for free at no additional cost, and lower the Medicare eligibility age, most likely to age 60. Also, 2 years of free preschool, 2 years of free community college, which will be absolutely a game changer for our country, for people to be able to go to college for free for 2 years. I think that after they pass the 2 years, they'll likely pass the 4 years that they originally wanted for, but I think they're going to kind of do it in sections, like they did with the child tax credits. They passed it for 1 year, and now they're looking to pass it for 4 more years. And I think we're going to see a lot of these things in this next package, what they can get done. And then they're going to pass even more packages. They're also talking about another package after this. When October 1st comes around, they get a whole nother set of reconciliation cards. They can also go back and amend bills again through the reconciliation process. So Democrats can pass multiple different bills. So everything doesn't necessarily need to be in this next package. They're going to kind of put as much in there and pass as much as they can, whether it's bipartisan or not, and then let things simmer a little bit, get those checks out, and then go on to the next package, which is kind of what we've been doing, step by step here. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Make sure to subscribe down there while you're down there. New videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, don't forget to hit the like button for us. It really helps out our channel. I will keep you up to date with everything. Also, we had special guest appearances yesterday for Father's Day with my wife. And you can click on this video here to see all the state stimulus checks and county stimulus checks, along with a guest appearance from my wife at the end of this video, and a guest appearance with my son at the end of this video, which is a new stimulus update. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.